live once again. Well, we're not always live, but we're live on this particular show, showing the boxing roundtable. Your man Jose, aka the DR Dream, with my man,
The Maniac.
and we are ready to talk.
Boxing.
All right. You guys already know. Uh, a week late, but we're still gonna recap the Suldo Ramirez, now at cruiserweight, versus Joe Smith, and we're also going to talk about the upcoming Zanabek fight. And of course, the meat and potatoes of this weekend, Tim Tszyu versus Brian Mendoza, in what should be maybe not a great fight, but definitely, exciting. You got two punches in there, and Tim Tszyu looks like he's on a mean streak. He's out to try and prove himself. And Mendoza is a guy who's not the greatest fighter, but he got that one hitter quitter. Where if you fall asleep, he'll really put you to sleep. Just like Sean about to go to sleep now. So anyway, talk to us, man, about your thoughts, of course, on the Wood versus Warrington fight and the Sudo Ramirez performance at cruiserweight.
Yeah, man. So, as you know, Lee Wood defended his WBA featherweight title last week against
Tony, yeah, yo, Zoo gonna win
Yo.
easy. He says,
Yeah.
okay, okay,
Who's gonna win
but
easy?
Zoo.
Oh, Zoo. Yeah,
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 yeah. You know
yeah.
what?
All
You know
right.
what, Sean? Let's start with that one. Let's start with that one because the fans on here they talking. So let's start with the Tim Zoo, Brian Mendoza.
All right.
How you
Well,
see it?
so first, for those that follow the sport but not thoroughly, remember, Charlo was stripped of his WBO once that bell rang against Canelo. So Tim Tszyu is currently the WBO champion. They have elevated him to full champion. He is no longer the interim champion. So a full title will be on the line tomorrow. Now, Tim Tszyu Mendoza, man, I've always, not I've always said it, but I'm going to say it now, man. Boxing is not rocket science, it's sweet science. And this fight, it's not hard to break down. You got two fighters that, they don't shy away from contact. Mendoza, he's always the underdog, and it looks like he likes representing that. He's a fighter that's not going to be intimidated. He's going to go in there and not be an opponent. He's going to go in there and try to win. The problem is that the opponent in front of him is starting to become a top tier fighter at junior. Well, he's already a top tier fighter at junior middleweight. I'm just talking about in boxing in general. Tim Tszyu has been on the mean streak. This guy has been eating dudes. He's been putting dudes in the oven. He is not to be played with. Now, he's not the most skilled fighter, but he can box. He's not a one trick pony. Zoo is not a one trick pony, and he has legit power at junior middleweight, as we saw in his last two fights and fights before that. But I'm not going to go that far. We saw the Tony Harrison fight, and then after that, Ocampo. A fight that I expected Zoo to win, but not in that fashion and not that fast. So what I expect to see tomorrow is a fight where two fighters that are not going to back down. But at the end of the day, I see Zoo with about an 8-9, maybe 10th round stoppage. But I think Zoo's gonna. I mean, Mendoza's gonna put up a fight, man. He's not a slouch, man. He's just not.
I mean, I like the fight, to be honest with you, and I like the fact that we spoke about it on the show before. The fact that Zoo ain't waiting for nobody. Zoo got rid of Ocampo better than Spence, says
He did.
Tony Yayo. I mean, it was nicer looking, but remember, Spence took him out in round one from a simple body shot. The dude didn't even want to continue. Ocampo. It looked like he had the chance to continue. He packed it in. As to where Zoo hit this guy with about a 2 or 3 piece. Was that a first round knockout or a second round knockout? I think it was.
It was 102, but you would figure Ocampo learned from that first fight. But you didn't. I didn't expect
against Spence.
Zoo against Spence. Correct. You would figure that he's like, all right, I got stopped early before from a top tier fighter. So honestly, they were both impressive, but I think from Zoo's standpoint, it was more impressive because Spencer's already he's been a fighter from out the gate. He's an Olympian. People expect big things from him. Still a good stoppage. I'm not saying that wasn't Ocampo's a tough fighter. What Spence did was good, but you got to put it right there with Spence as well. I mean,
Yeah, I
the
mean,
bottom line, they
I
both.
think that's yeah. They both stopped him, and they both stopped him in early. I think against Spence, you might have to give Spence a little more credit because it seemed like the guy just didn't want to continue because he knew what he was in against. Even like guys would remember when guys used to go down against Mike Tyson. They felt the blow. They felt they felt the wind come hit him close, and they said, you know what, nah, fuck this. So it might have been one of those situations. But against Zoo, he was really trying. He was really trying to win. He thought maybe he could beat Zoo. Nonetheless, I definitely like Zoo's performance as well against Ocampo. Now, getting back to it, my prediction of the fight, like I said, I like the fact that Tim Zoo is not waiting on Charlo. He's not waiting. He's not doing this shit where the Benavides was doing that. Uh, uh, Pitbull Cruz is doing, just waiting on Javante. He's fighting. He's staying busy, and he's fighting. He's taking on all comers, and now he already has a belt, which I think that I know I understand he was a mandatory, but I think that this belt, I think that this fight should have been the winner takes the belt rather than just give it to Tim Tszyu.
I,
But I
I
understand that he was on the waiting list and all that. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, listen, when it comes to the sanctioning bodies, they're very unpredictable, right? Um, this is the WBO. All sanctioning bodies are hypocrites. I personally call them they the cartels of boxing because they extort you. They just make up rules as they go. Some sanctioning bodies kind of stick to their rules, but at the end of the day, they're gonna do whatever they want, right? Um, the WBC, right? A perfect example. Jamal Charlo has had the WBC for 2 years, hasn't fought in 2 years, and hasn't been stripped. I can't see no fighter that happening to. And then um, you have Betterby, right? Who is at 175. He has a WBC. There was an interview that they had with Suleiman, who's the president of the WBC, and they asked, why wouldn't you want Bevo to unify the belts, for that? No, because Bevo's Russian. Listen to his explanation. Bevo's Russian, so he don't want Bevo to fight for the WBC belt. Mind
And
you,
and
he had
for those that don't know why the Russian, I think most people know that Russia has a conflict, an ongoing conflict with the Ukraine, the Russian government, the Russian military, Putin, not uh,
not
Bivo,
Bevo.
who's simply a citizen of Russia. He was actually born in Kyrgyzstan, which is not actually Russia itself, but I guess it belongs to Russia.
Yeah, but the
Anyway,
point
he
is
has
this.
nothing to do with a country's political decisions, and nothing that's simply that's something that even legally should be uh, investigated. How he's even allowed to do something like that.
Yeah, but that was my point about the sanctioning bodies. They do whatever they want, and I just don't like that. So what the WBO did was wrong. They should have gave him the option. Say, listen, once you're done with that Canelo fight, you must fight Zoo. If not, we're stripping you. Give him that option at least. At least give him that. He's earned those belts, right? No one. He wasn't given these belts because somebody moved up. No, he earned these belts. He earned that unified undisputed champion at junior middleweight.
All right, but all right. So they took, and it's weird because we mentioned the two Charlos here. So why is there any bias against one and not the other? Because one is a Charlo, the other one is a Charlo. One Charlo held the title for 2 years, they haven't stripped him, and the other one got stripped. So
Yeah,
that's
but it's two
interesting.
different. It's two different sanctioning bodies. That's why.
Con.
One is the WBC, one is the WBO. But nonetheless, we're not gonna spend much
Yeah,
time
yeah,
on that.
you can't
That's
really.
the point.
But my
But
opinion, my question was, do you think they should have just gave it to Zoo, or you think that this fight should have been for the vacant for that title? That title should have been vacant for both of these guys. I think that
yeah,
would have
yeah,
made it more exciting.
it definitely would have, right? Because technically, Charlo hasn't lost that belt, right? Realistically, technically, they did take it. They just said it's ours. But the point is this: it should have been a vacant title. Them fighting for vacant, but obviously, it's
Because
not.
now anyone can call now Charlo can call Tim Tszyu a paper champion if he
Correct,
wins the fight, or
correct,
he's already the champion. Anyway,
correct.
what I see in this fight is I see a guy who's just better. Tim Tszyu's better. Tim Tszyu has not only power but boxing skill, and he's hungry. Mendoza is one of those reactive fighters who shouldn't be reactive. He's similar to Gabe Rosado. Gabe Rosado wasn't a busy guy. He was a guy that would fall asleep in there. He was a guy who had a sparring partner mentality, but we know he had that power. He had that punch. And sometimes he let it go and he put someone down. He should have been doing that earlier on in the early rounds because he had the firepower. He just didn't have, I guess, the confidence in himself to throw these punches, to let him go, to put punches together, or the creativity, simply the talent to put punches together early to take a fighter out. When you have power, Sean, you can't be sitting there waiting. That doesn't mean. Imagine if Mike Tyson would have been uh, a low volume counter puncher. You think he would have been as great as he was? No,
No,
because you got to let your hands go. So that's the case with Mendoza. I think that the only advantage he has, if you can call it, is that he has a little more power than Zoo. But I see Zoo being a better fighter in every other department. And let's not forget, he ain't going. It's not like Mendoza's from I don't know where he fights out of Miami or Florida or what. I think he's Cuban. So let's say he's from Miami. I don't know where he fights out of. If he would fight in DC, okay, he's going far from home, but still in the USA, same time zone. Fighting in LA, still away from home, same country, 3 hour difference. Going all the way to Australia, daddy. Australia to a complete hostile crowd, and you lose it there and gain it, that could throw your whole shit off. You understand? You understand what I'm saying? So, right here says, what happened to all these Eastern Euro fighters? Beck the Bully, Madrimov, and even Bivol is sidelined since you mentioned Gabe Rosado. Well,
well,
I
no, Beck the Bully. Um,
fight Saturday
Beck the
tomorrow.
Bully, he just fought last Saturday. He was the
Mm,
co-main event of the Joe Smith Zerlo. He
mm.
stopped Alontes Fox. So that's the only. I guess he Tony Yayo because Rosado was the only fighter to beat Beck the Bully. He stopped him. That fight, there's Rosado was losing, got dropped,
I
and
remember.
Rosado did a beautiful counter
I
punch.
remember. I remember.
Yeah,
And you
but
said
then they
Gabe
had
was
a
losing, right?
rematch. Correct.
And,
But they had the rematch
but he let
recently.
and dude beat him in the rematch. Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thanks. I had no
So
idea Beck was still active. Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
going
yeah.
back to the Tim
He
Zoo,
fought last Saturday.
going back to that Tim Zoo fight, Tim Zoo Mendoza. Tim Zoo's just better all around. He's confident in himself and he's hungry. He lets them hands go, and Mendoza doesn't. And to be successful in boxing, to be a great, you gotta let your hands go. So you can sit around and wait for that punch to come. Meanwhile, you're gonna be getting hit, and you can't afford to be getting hit by a guy like Tim Zoo because Tim Zoo can punch. So and again and again and again, going all the way to Australia in the hostile crowd, just it's literally like a day away. So it's tough to go out there and be the good fighter when you're not a great fighter yourself. So I got Tim Zoo, and I think the fight's gonna end in stoppage. But I definitely got Tim Zoo. I think, like you said, 8th to 10th round.
Yeah. He'll put up a better fight than Ocampo did. Um, and before we move
Ocampo
on to
Ocampo tried to put up a fight, but he was just outgunned.
nah, it looked bad. It looked bad.
Yeah, but
I
he
didn't see that
he
coming.
he saw but I saw the desire in him to say, "Oh, I'm here, I'm fighting." The
Man.
thing with Mendoza is, let's see, I don't like fighters that wait to get hit to then react. You know what I'm
Yeah, let's
saying?
see. Let's
Kind of
see.
like
I
an
mean,
Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua's another one with tremendous power, but he doesn't do anything. It just same kind of similar with Andy Ruiz too. But Andy Ruiz is much better than most of these guys.
yeah,
But he's also a fighter that kind of waits to get clipped to then act.
yeah. I mean, we'll see. Maybe he learned in the Fedora fight. Listen, I gotta come out a little hotter. He's like you say, he's fighting in hostile territory. I believe they've been out there for a week already to get acclimated to the time,
They should have
your
been there for
body
they should have
and
been there
all
for
that.
longer. They should have been there for
I
longer.
think a week, but trust me, it wasn't this week. They've been there for a week or two. I'm not sure,
They should have
but
been there for
I
longer. If I
know.
was him, I would have done the whole training camp over there. Hey,
Eh,
yo,
I
this
mean,
is far. This is far. This is
yeah, yeah, yes or
against you.
no, but
You
not.
you
But it's
lose.
not.
This is like 20 hours on an
Yeah, I
airplane.
mean, it's more about it's. I think regardless, even
And
if
remember,
it's camp,
you
even if
leave
it's camp.
Friday, and then you get there like Sunday, or you leave Friday and then get there Friday again, something crazy like that.
Yeah, yeah. But what I'm saying is, regardless, even if his camp was in Australia, he was to me he was gonna lose this fight.
No, but I'm
I mean,
talking
we
about
seen
getting
Haney.
acclimated. I'm talking
Yeah,
about
yeah,
as
but
far as
we
getting
seen
acclimated.
Haney go over there 2 times, and that shit didn't do nothing to him. But
Yeah,
this
but
is what I'm.
remember the heat. That's a fight where we knew that
But
it
this
was a
was my
mismatch
point. It
stylistically.
does. Yeah, it doesn't matter. What I'm trying. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That it doesn't matter. Zoo is just a better fighter than Mendoza,
No,
even
he
if
is.
they were trained
All
in the
right, but
same gym.
to increase his
Yeah, but
chances or to come in and give a
yeah,
better account of himself, right? Because if we can't say that he can't win, we can't say that because we know the dude could punch.
yeah,
As far as Camboso's Haney, it was nothing that boy could do.
yeah. But like I said, it's about getting acclimated. I just don't think. I think Zoo is just a better fighter. Mendoza's tough. He was losing the Fedora fight. People got to take that into consideration.
And
He just
but when you say
he
losing, that's
stopped
an
him.
understatement. He was getting beat up the whole fight.
So that's what I'm saying. Like it doesn't matter. He's gonna come to fight. Zoo is just a better fighter. He's reaching a top tier status in the sport, not just a junior middleweight. And before we move on from this fight, right? There was rumor, again, it's only rumor, that Crawford gets the win of this fight. Again, I don't know how much true that is, because in boxing, people say things and it's not true. But if he's not gonna fight Spence in the rematch, right? If he's not gonna fight Charlo, then there's only one other option at junior middleweight, and that's Zoo. If he
Yeah,
wins tomorrow,
that's
that's
the
it.
only
Those are the
that's the
only three.
that's the
Those
only
are the
other.
only three fights that make
We,
sense.
and that's the only other title list, but it depends on Zoo and his sanctioning bodies because Crawford has never fought at 54. Therefore, a lot of other guys might feel like, yo, you gotta wait in line because I'm
Nah,
next. So let's see.
it don't. In boxing, it don't work like that. You fighters come up, boom. So Haney he's going to 140 and fighting for the WBC. There's other dudes at 140 like, yo,
It
what's
depends.
up?
It depends. It depends who's behind you, who's backing you. We know
That's
that.
what
We
I'm
know.
saying. So
Wait,
we
wait,
can't
wait.
say
But who? Yeah, but who's backing Crawford? Promotionally.
doesn't matter. He's the dude. You telling me Zoo wouldn't want that fight? Right
No,
now
no,
he's in
no,
a
not that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that yeah, it makes sense. What I'm saying is that you do gotta have some political backing behind you to get like Haney got Top Rank with him or Eddie Hearn, so they're gonna make a way when there's not a way. But remember, Crawford is they say kind of his own promoter at this point.
yeah. I don't know if he signed some with PBC, not an exclusive deal, but something where they 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 might they might promote a fight of his. I'm not sure how that
No, yeah, if
how
that's
that.
the case, then it won't be any issue in him fighting Zoo.
Yeah, but it's not.
Again, if like you said, the Spence, these guys are real quiet. So I think him and Spence are gonna fight again because they're real quiet,
Yeah.
just like the first time around.
All right.
Anyway, now that's the next question that I was gonna pose. What do you want next for Zoo? Let's say it's not Crawford.
I mean, you know the obvious. Then Charlo, right? Because now the IBF has made Charlo wants Charlo to fight his mandatory, the IBF, some European fighter. I can't even pronounce his name. So Charlo's not gonna fight him. So now expect Charlo to vacate the IBF, right? So now by he'll have two belts missing. That leave him with the WBC and the WBA.
Well, he can also give some step aside money to that dude,
They can, but
or they
it
can
looks like
simply extend. They can ask for an extension,
it all depends, like I said, is what the
especially,
sanctioning
eh,
bodies want.
especially if he's gonna be for unifying against Tim Tszyu, which that would be a big fight, and they could do it right.
Charlo
They could do it right here in New York. Now I can scroll up and see the comment in a little.
Charlo and Zoo, you said?
No, I said that if I think that they'll allow him to retain the belt because a unification against Zoo would be big.
It'll still be a unification because he'll have
Yeah,
two of the
but
four major
it'll
titles.
it, it, it'll be what's hot right now, and that's the undisputed.
Yeah, so we'll see. It's on the IBF, man.
All right. Tony Ayo said, "You heard the Showtime rumors. Will they be around to showcase Crawford next fight in 2024?" Yeah, we definitely heard the Showtime rumors, and I don't know if we addressed that here on the show yet. Uh, will they be around 2024? I believe they will be around in 2024, maybe early on. I think that if they were to wrap it up this year, they would have probably announced it, or maybe they will announce it in one of these next telecasts that they have. But I think maybe they'll be going spring next year and showcase Crawford. I can't see Crawford. Crawford already said he's acting like he's not going to take a small fight, so he's not going to have no showcase fight. Either he's going to fight Spence again, he's going to fight Charlo, or now, as you just mentioned, Sean, he's going to fight Zoo. So I don't see them showcasing no Terrence Crawford. I think Crawford's made it clear he's 36 years old, 35 years old, so he only wants
36.
the big. He only wants the big money fights at this point, and I understand him.
Yeah, man. So that look is unfortunate. What's happening in Showtime, I think, is pretty much the word hasn't been official yet, but it's not hard to read between the lines. And the rumor is Amazon, right? They're
That
gonna
that
PBC.
PBC is going on
Yeah,
Amazon.
PBC is gonna go because they pretty much exclusive with Showtime, right? Golden Boy is pretty much the zone. Top rank is ESPN.
ESPN.
So we'll see, man. Let's see what comes up. Let's see, and then once we get more information, we could dive more into it.
And those are the only power players in boxing. You still have the little small promotional companies, but we know that the power players are Top Rank, PBC, and Golden Boy. As we know, and as I mentioned to you before, yeah, it could be some cap, but I do believe that Oscar De La Hoya really wants to work with everyone. But they're just not going to come together. And for some reason, they're not gonna work with him. They might work with him once or twice when there's kind of no choice. But I definitely like his attitude and what he's trying to bring. He's trying to make things happen. He's talking to Aaron. He wants to talk to him, and that's something that me and you spoke about. Not like he said, to quote him, you're talking about a six division, world six weight class world champion, 11-time world champion, gold medalist, pay per view record breaker, one of the most successful fighters in and outside the ring. So to hear him say the boxing is dying, if we don't help it, it's gonna die. To hear him say that, it should raise some concern, and it should motivate other promoters to say, yo, you know what? Let's make this sport is already great. Let's make it as great as the potential should be. So people will start watching this. Let the best fight the best. We all gonna make money anyway. Because I don't understand, Sean. They act like if my fighter beats your fighter, we gonna get paid, but not you. Everybody gonna get paid. You understand what I'm saying? So, like you mentioned, what's why? And that's greed. That's being hard headed. That's being stubborn. That's holding grudges against.
Egos,
It's like
egos.
come on, man. I don't understand, man. That's just sometimes you go into these. We live right here in New York, right? You ever been to those things where it got Popeye on one side and KFC on the other, or Popeyes and Burger King? It's not like that. Nah. We both food. We ain't work. Nah, they work together, right? And for some reason it works because whoever go in there, somebody gonna eat Burger King, somebody gonna eat Popeyes. But the business is gonna make money, and they both in it. So
No, no. We had this conversation many times, man. Um, and it's just simple. I never understood it, right? As I became more of a
well,
hardcore fan, it's
well,
like,
hold on. Nah, go ahead.
why is it that you're businessmen, because they're businessmen, right? But you don't want to make money with me because you don't like me personally. That shit make no sense. That shit makes no sense because, like you mentioned, bro, whether my fighter wins or your fighter wins, they both getting paid and we're getting paid. And you know what? That opens the door for more fights, right? Because it's like, yo, Jose, you know, I worked with you on this fight, now work with me on this one. You got me on the last fight. I'm trying to get you on this fight. Let's make these fights happen, man. So
Yeah, I
yes,
mean, I mean, I guess there must be something that you and I don't know, because there's a lot of boxing analysts or fans or people that have shows like we do, and they try to get into the intricacies of who's getting paid what, and I don't think that we're that privy to that information, and if we were, that doesn't mean that we would still be knowledgeable on a subject. So maybe there is something where, well, look at Bob Bam. Bob Bam doesn't like to make any fights outside with anyone else because it seems that he does get more money when it's only his fighters fighting each other. I guess that's the way it works. And remember, with him, it might be all right. Well, he's gonna get a couple of $1,000 more, but to him, money's money, and more money's more money, even if it's 1 cent.
yeah, but certain things is obvious. If we know Ryan Garcia and Teofimo Lopez, right? They kind of seems like that's the fight they want for the Super Bowl weekend, right? That's a mega fight at the Spear. Teofimo Ryan. We know Ryan is not the better fighter, but he's the more popular, right? So therefore, he might have to get the lion's share of it. He's for the
Yeah,
pay per view. So that's what I'm saying. We know that. We don't need to be promoters to know that. You understand? And as a promoter, like you're right, bro. He deserves the lion's share. Just give us something reasonable. You know what I'm saying? Don't rape us. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
because
Don't.
especially a guy who's beat two undisputed fighters and just beat the best guy in in his division and ain't no slouch as far as bringing asses to the seats neither. Because Tio be doing numbers every time he comes to the Garden. He'll feel that it's not like Tio don't can't draw flies to a pile of shit. This ain't no so they're gonna have to pay Tio. You know,
No, he'll get paid. I know, but
yeah.
I'm saying, like, I don't want to hear that. Well, if we don't get 10 million, then it's like, bro, y'all wild. Cause Theo ain't getting no 10 million fighting no Ryan Garcia. You
No, not
understand?
only not only that, but also you can't be Ryan Garcia's side and say we're gonna get 10 and Tio gonna get two, because
Yeah,
it don't
no,
work like that. It has to be
but yeah, but it might have to be because he's gonna say, well, look, you
yeah,
saw
but
my
not
last
not
pay per view.
yeah, but not well, yeah, but not that
It can be.
they still have to offer do a reasonable amount of money or the back end on the pay per view.
Yeah,
Now Now to something that to answer Tony Yayo, he says Tio Ryan Garcia should happen though. Tio wants to cash out and make money. What do you mean by Tio cashing out? Because why would that be Tio cashing out? That would be Tio getting a fairly easy payday against Ryan Garcia, a guy that there's really no doubt in my mind that he's gonna beat. So I don't know why you would say that's cashing out unless you say Brian wants to cash out
No,
because
or maybe he's saying maybe not cash out and leave, like he's just trying to get the bag. Everybody say things
yeah, but
differently. So
when you say
I
cash
know
out,
I
that
know
usually
cash out, but maybe
yeah
cash out like just trying to get the most money possible. But
yeah.
let's
Well,
see if
that's why wouldn't he fight Ryan Garcia? Of course he would take that fight. He said wrong wording.
see
Teal
that's what I'm
deserves
saying. That's what I had.
Teal deserved to make. Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, there you go. Because cashing out wouldn't be. That's not. Anyway, yeah. I mean, I like to see it. Sure, whatever. Fine. Shit. We saw a bigger mismatch with Tio and Tank, where he made. I'm sorry, with Tank and Ryan, where he made Ryan come down to 136, and then didn't allow him to rehydrate. And the fight was already. We were gonna favor Tank anyway, no matter what weight it was. So now he had too many things on his side for his advantage. So against Tio, at least they'll both be fighting at 140 and they'll both be comfortable. You understand what I'm saying? But Tio
Yeah,
beats Ryan any day of the week. Would I like to see it? Sure. And if it happens, I'm gonna give I already give Ryan a whole lot of respect for fighting Tank. But if that happens, then I'm gonna give him even more respect because he would be the only one to fight two of the fantastic fours of 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 boxing today in and around the same weight classes. So Teal would have fought keeps Ryan would have fought Javante Tank Davis and Teofimo Lopez. And we know that the four is Ryan Garcia, Javante Davis, Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, right? And now it's really five because you gotta add Shakur Stevenson. So if he would be the only one who has fought any of those two, and of course Tio doesn't say no to anyone. He went up there challenged at a young age and with a 16-0 record. So, challenged Lomachenko. Then he went up in weight now and beat the undefeated, undisputed, because no one had taken the title from white
yeah,
boy
but
Josh
we
Taylor.
can't. We can't. I know it's something. It's just like Charlo now. Charlo stripped. He ain't undisputed. No one took that WBO from him. But the bottom line is
Yeah,
Tio.
you mean legally, but we know that he is.
Yeah, but they not you won't it
Li-
won't go on the record.
Nah, but
When yeah,
linearly, we know what it is.
yeah, but what I'm saying is when it's said in 5 years, no one's gonna say he beat an undisputed fighter. Is what I'm saying. It
But
sucks.
that's
I
that's
mean
not even.
that's just the politics.
I'm not even going to. I'm not going to debate that. I'm just going to move on because that to me that's like anyway. But anyway, we would have to give Ryan a lot of credit if he steps up and fight Tio, and we know that's he gonna lose. So I'm not saying he can't win. Yeah, of course, anybody has a shot, right? Especially when you're fighting on that level. He's a decent fighter with a great punch and great speed. But that's a big risk. What would happen to him, Sean, if he were to get knocked out again in his next fight? Not this one, but his next fight. Given how fecal how
Well,
these boxing fans are today.
it all depends how he gets stopped, right? That goes
Well,
a long way.
last time he quit.
Body shot. He got a body shot,
He quit.
right?
He quit.
And he stopped. Um, if he was to like Teofimo just like knock him out, and he's just sleep, that yeah, it's gonna be bad for him. And we know social media, we in the era now you can't hide. So it will never stop. But if it's like a back and forth war, he dropped Tio dropped him, and then Tio stops him late on the TKO, like referees like enough. The real fans will be like, yo, nah, bro, he was there, he was banging. But if he gets dominated and then gets knocked out, yeah, it's gonna be bad for him. But
So I think like you said, just like you said, I think it don't matter because that's a fight that casuals will watch. So what would they see? They're only going to see what's on the record, what's on the tape, the last 6, 10 seconds. He got knocked out. He got put to sleep. No matter what he did the whole fight, so it's going to look bad for him no matter what. To
I'm
me,
just
it
saying,
won't look bad at all
the cat,
because
yeah,
he he
because
he made it.
look,
He
he's
got
fighting
balls if he
Tank,
does that.
he fought Tank, he's fighting Duarte, right? Who's no pushover,
Yeah,
right? He's no pushover. And then if he wins a possible in a couple of months, right? Because the Super Bowl's in February, to come back and fight someone like Tio, wow. Yeah, you're right. Whether this is my whole point. I've been saying for a long time. For anybody, it doesn't matter if you don't like a fighter. It doesn't matter if you don't like the style of the fighter. If his style doesn't intrigue you, you have to give fighter credit if he's good, if he's accomplished stuff, regardless. And Ryan, I mean, he doesn't have no title, but if he goes and fights Tio after this fight, come on, those 3 fights in a row, not too many people could say they done that. Fought 3 tough opponents in a row, being who he is, right? Because he's at a point where he's a celebrity in boxing, right? So he could say, yo, I could fight whoever, but I think no, he wants to prove that he's great. He wants to say, listen, I'm not this Mr. Gatorade kid. I'm not this La Bamba looking dude that look like I belong in a band, a boy band. I could fight. And you know what? Tank was just better than me that night, but I'm gonna prove that I'm gonna learn from that fight and I'm gonna continue to get better and become a world champion and become elite. I
yeah,
think he
and I like
feels he
that.
could do that.
I like the fact that he told Golden Boy, if it ain't Tank, I don't want it to make that fight. And a lot of people say this. Well, this fighter, he said he wanted. He said he wants this. He said he wants that. Tank says he wants this. So says the one Tank. At the end of the day, Sean, if a fighter takes the decision that Ryan took and really wants to make a fight happen, they will. Anyway, we had Wood Warrington last week, in good entertaining fight. We had Wood was being dominated, really getting out fought, out hustled by Warrington. And Lee Wood, like he knows how to do with his superior technique, was able to catch a Warrington that got a little careless, got a little tired, and hit him with like a 5 piece, man, which began with a right hook and put him to sleep, a la Conlon, the same way he did Mickey Conlon over there in Europe, I believe it was as well. So he has now two of these kind of come from behind knockouts and knockouts like knockouts. What do you think of that fight and the performances of both fighters?
No, first of all, this is his third fight in 8 months. He's fought Mauricio Lara twice. He lost to him, ran it back a couple of months, won his title back, and came back and fought Warrington. And people have to also take this into consideration. Warrington, his last fight, he won a majority. I mean, he lost a majority decision to El Venado, which we just saw him recently. That's Luis Alberto Lopez,
I like
who's
that fight.
currently a champion at 126, and he's tough. And it was a close fight. So he came in here, and I loved his mentality. He gave Wood no respect. He was the road. He was the road team. So he was in hostile environment. They from the same country, different cities. And man, he was bringing it to him. Exactly. Boom, man, we were going back and forth. We was like, yo, this is looking bad. I thought Lee Wood was on his way out. I said, oh, yeah, this is he's done. Especially he was saying that he had trouble making this way. So I said, yeah, he's gone, but he showed he had more in the gas. Warrington, soon as he got hit with that, That, like you said, that was like a 6 piece, no biscuit, no drink, just straight chicken. Bang, boom, bang, bang.
Put
I
him out.
said, damn, that was
And,
pretty,
and,
man.
and he was definitely. There's some stoppages where I think they get stopped too quick, but he was definitely ready to go. The only asterisk or the round was over. Round was over. So let the motherfucker sit on the stool and let him come back. If he can't after the minute is up and it's time for him to fight again, and he's still looking up talking about where Mars at, then yeah, then nah, you gotta call it. But they should allow him to take that minute break and sit down. Now we also had El Zurdo, the return of El Zurdo Ramirez versus Joe Smith. I'm gonna get into that fight. I think that we saw a Zurdo Ramirez that was using a lot of resources, a lot of boxing resources, a lot of boxing skill, some movement. We saw kind of a more refined Zurdo, but to me, a weak Zurdo, a Zurdo that is not a cruiserweight. He was barely a light heavyweight. I think there's nobody at cruiserweight. So what is he gonna do? Go up more of the heavyweight, and get his ass whooped? I think might get his ass whooped at cruiserweight by one of those guys who is not very known. And the cruiserweight division has never been a popular or money making division. So what is he gonna do? Is he gonna go up to heavyweight, or is he gonna bring someone else from light heavy up to cruiserweight with a name in order to make money? Still, I think that his career is pretty much over. I think that it is what it is. I think that I can't see any bright future for Sultan Ramirez. Talking about cashing out, that's a guy that they got to cash out.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say his career is over. Again, this is a guy with only one loss, and that came in the hands of Dimitri Bivol, right?
That's
This
not the.
was a
It's not the one. It's not the one loss. Is what he has and hasn't done in his career and how he's looked. We saw him move from well, wasn't he at 168 at one point?
yes,
168 couldn't make that. 175 couldn't make that, and really came at an embarrassing weight in his last fight where he couldn't make the weight, right? And Gabe Rosado, I believe it was, pulled out,
yes.
and now he fights at this weight, and he showed some technique, but he looked very slow, very sluggish, and he's never been a power puncher. He's more of an accumulative guy that'll break you down. And
Yeah,
now he's
I
gonna
mean, he's
fight
a
guys that are much much bigger. So what I'm saying is, his career is over as far as what is he gonna do, because he's now at a division that is void of talent, that is void of money fights. So what is he gonna do next in his career?
well. Wait, first of all, no, 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 no. First of all, he's Mexican. That counts for a lot. That's one.
Oh, there was like 15 people there when he fought this dude last week.
Listen, maybe it was the opponent, but people were there. It
Oh,
wasn't. It was a
but he's
small
Mexican.
arena. He is, but people want to see him, right? Because he's a good fighter. He could
I was
box. He's not.
surprised. I was surprised that there was no one there. I was, because we seen a lot of people show up to his fights before.
Listen, he's he's not your typical Mexican that's gonna overwhelm you with volume. He could box. Malik Scott is his trainer. Kind of seen that
But
his
somebody else,
movement was
somebody
good.
else is his trainer. Malik works with him too.
I know the father. Not was it his father? He wasn't available, but the point is he looked like he was being trained by a black trainer. That's the point. And man, for people who thought Joe Smith was done after the Better Beef fight, that was not the case, man. He fought as tough as he could. You know, he's a limited fighter. He's not the most skilled. He's strong. He could punch. But Zotto proved to be the better fighter. Now, I'm not saying Zotto looked excellent. I'm not saying, oh my God, this guy, he's a world beater. But off the rip of the four champions, I know there's Bandu Jack and there's Obertai. That dude, Obertai, he's he's uh he's New Zealand fighting out of Australia. He is strong. He could punch. He's good. For cruiserweight, he's good. I would love to see Zordo in there with one of those champions. The problem is he's he's just probably not a disciplined dude, man. Because look at all these issues with his weight, and then they didn't even fight at the limit.
That's what I'm referring to.
But no, but I mean that doesn't mean that his career is over. He has
Well,
he had
it's a trend. It's a trend,
yeah, but
right?
he's gonna listen. He's only if that's the case, then he's gonna be in heavyweight. I mean, he ain't gonna get bigger than that,
Yeah,
right?
and what's gonna happen to him at heavyweight? He gonna get his
No,
ass
then
whooped
listen,
he gonna get his ass whooped by the lowest the lowest of the lowest. He gonna get his ass
then
whooped by fucking by the nigga. What's the name of the dude that um one of them sub NBA guys that you just on the bench and
yeah,
shit.
but I mean it is. If he get killed, he get killed. That's on him. The point I'm saying is at cruiserweight there are fights for him, right? If he wants to, remember Usyk unified the cruiserweight division. Now people, it's not a division that gets a lot of recognition. It's not a division that people talk about. It's not a division people get excited about. Now the point is this for Zordo. I'm just talking about as the fighter. If you want people to say, yo, okay, me, I'm going for the straight champions now. And I'm going to try to unify because we know he's not going down. It's either cruiserweight
Also,
or
also,
heavyweight.
also, also, let's also remember, he didn't fight a cruiserweight. He fought a guy who that was they brung up from 175 as well. So it was two light heavyweights. Well, one light heavyweight who actually never had weight issues in Joe Smith fighting a guy that couldn't make the weight no more and because of discipline or whatever else it may be at cruiserweight. So let's remember that he didn't beat no cruiserweight.
Yeah, I mean, you're right with that. But the point is, you only can fight what's in front of you. He did what he had to do. Let's see how he looked when he fight a natural cruiserweight. Then we could go a more in-depth look and be like, oh, he got exposed. Oh shit. Zolo got busy. So we won't know until that time comes. And let's hope. Let's hope Golden Boy puts him in there with a cruiserweight next. Because they better not bring no light heavyweight up to fight him at no catch weight of 190, which is, it's cruiserweight, but just a catch weight. It's not the limit of 200. Because Zoldo, looking at him, bro, he was a heavyweight in there. Joe Smith was fighting a heavyweight last Saturday. That
All
shit is
right,
he was over 200 pounds.
all
Easily.
right.
But that's that.
Benavidez, Demetrius Andre official,
Mm.
sealed, signed, and it's gonna be delivered November 25th, I believe it
Correct.
is.
Thanksgiving weekend.
That's one of the most interesting matchups of the year, following the trend of Tank, Garcia, Spence, Crawford, Haney, Lomachenko, Charlo, Canelo as far as names and being
Mhm.
interesting, even though it was a mismatch even on paper. This should be a good fight because all those fights that I mentioned were great on paper and mismatches in the ring, with the exception of Lomachenko, Devin Haney. What I think we're gonna see in this fight, I think that it's a question mark, not on Andre's part, but on the part of Benavidez. You're gonna say, "Well, why Dream? Why you?" Benavidez, we know, is a good fighter, a tough fighter, a guy who's gonna come forward, who's gonna make it happen. The Mexican monster, right? But there's something that we both saw, you and I, in the last fight, and the dude was drained. The dude physically, volume wise, win wise, he didn't wake up till about round seven, and before at the weigh in, he just looked deflated. We understand that he's a big dude. We're talking about guys being big like Ramirez. This is a big dude who, in my opinion, has overstayed his welcome at 168 pounds and should have already been fighting at 175. Now, Caleb Plant, wasn't the guy to show us exactly that. But a guy like Demetrius Andre, who has what Caleb has, and that's boxing skill, movement, plus power, might be the guy to expose Benavidez and simply show us that either he was a weight bully or he simply couldn't make this weight anymore. Benavidez is going to be the favorite. I see a lot of people shitting on Andre, not giving him much of a chance. They're just, I don't know, man, cheerleaders. The Benavidez is more known, he's more popular. They rocking with him. Well, I got news for you guys. I might put money on Andrade because the Andrade that came in, the Benavidez, I'm sorry, that came in against Caleb Plant, Andrade will wash him up. And in boxing, you're only as good as your last fight. Now, we had this conversation showing, well, yeah, but wait, you never know. Yeah, it's true. But, I can't, for example, you at the club, right? I dance merengue or bachata salsa, and I pull out a chick to dance. I don't look that good dancing. The other chick ain't gonna want to dance with me because she don't know I dance really well. I just had a bad partner in front of me, or I didn't dance well at one time. So she can only go by what she sees. So us as analysts, sometimes we got to go with the latest because this is a sport, and in a sport we got to look at performances. So if and now we're talking about a weight issue here, right? We're talking about a size issue. We're talking about a guy squeezing himself to a certain weight. He had an issue doing that. So how do we know he's not going to have that issue again? Because now, with time, what happens? With time, you only get bigger. With time, it's only harder to make a certain weight, right? So, you know, I think that it's going to catch up to him. I think it's going to catch up to him in this fight. It caught up. I believe he caught up to Errol Spence, and it's going to catch up to Benavidez in this fight.
Yeah. So um,
And that's not to
yeah,
say that that's the only reason why Andre is gonna beat him, because we know
just
Andre is a very very good fighter. Like he
just
said,
to pick.
Canelo asked him. Remember when he got back and Canelo told him, "You're a horrible fighter. You're a horrible fighter." And then Canelo says Benavidez is a great fighter or a good fighter. And then they ask Canelo, "What you think about a fight?" He says a 50-50 fight. So how is a 50-50 fight if Andre is a horrible fighter? But Benavidez is a great fighter who we all know you haven't been wanting to fight. You gave him the run around probably what 4 times now. So we know what the deal is with Andre. That's a very good fighter.
Yeah. Yeah. So look, the bottom line is this: if Benavidez is still coming in, making trouble, making weight, I don't care. I don't need to hear no sources. Oh, who told you that? It shut up. It's there. And anyway, when they show him training, he looked like Andre the Giant. He had his hair loose, and people were going in on him like, "Yo, bro, he like 200 pounds. Yo, this guy's super big." It's a given. Now, I don't know if that plant fight, how serious he took it,
See, he look like
right?
Andre the Giant.
Yeah, he did. He has hair like it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
crazy. But the thing is this: if that's the Benavidez we're gonna get in the Boo Boo fight, oh yeah, Boo Boo. Not only Boo Boo wins, he wins easily. You know, but but I'll
He
have
wash
to
him up.
see first. We know like Benavidez has earned that nickname, the Mexican Monster, which he's half Ecuadorian, but we're gonna just keep him as the Mexican Monster. And in order to be Benavidez, you have to go through fire, right? And people say, "What do you mean go through fire?" There's gonna be times where you have to stand there and trade with him. It's gonna happen. He's gonna cut off the ring. You're gonna have to bite on that
What
mouthpiece
if
and
what if
say,
he
"I."
has what if he has nothing on those punches because he's weight drained? Then what happens then?
Well, I mean, that's what we will have to see. If it's just I don't if he don't have nothing on those punches, then Boo Boo don't got much to worry about, right? Even if the only knock on Boo Boo is his stamina. People saying that He has stamina issues. He tends
I
to
don't think
kind of
so.
gas out late. Now I'm gonna say this. I've said it. Boo Boo possesses all the tools on his true belt that you need to beat a fighter like Benavidez. And what are those tools? You need boxing ability, meaning skill. Gotta know how to box, right? You gotta have somewhat some power, which he
It's
does,
speed
right? He's in respect. He has footwork, because you gotta move, right? And the
and,
last one that I mentioned, the stamina
and
part, right?
speed, but and speed as well, and which he
Yeah,
has
yeah.
because he
I
has to
will
be
put that
faster.
in. I will put that in with the boxing ability, right? Because you definitely need that. And he's fast, and he's a southpaw. Let's not forget. So, Boo Boo. Listen, Vegas is gonna have Benavidez as the favorite, deservedly so. He's done more. He looks like the better fighter based on eye, right? No, no. I'm just saying what he's done, the way he's been stopping people, right? Boo Boo doesn't do it as pretty. Remember,
You know what's funny, Sean? I think there's something against this dude. I don't know why.
it
Because
is. Look,
usually when you see a slick black fighter, well, maybe because he's not American black, maybe because he's from Cape Verde, which is a Portuguese-speaking African country and an archipelago over there, right on the west side of Africa. I don't know. But usually when you get a slick black fighter, they get favored against everybody. And usually when you get a come forward, no head movement, no footwork, flat-footed guy like Benavidez, he's always going to be the underdog. So why is there so much hate for Andre?
I don't when from just again. This is just opinion because we
Because
don't really know.
stylistically, we know what boxers beat
No,
sluggers
we
8 out of 10 times.
no exactly. Again, it's how Benavidez been fighting and winning, right? And it's the way Boo Boo has been doing it because he has been considered not the most exciting fighter, right? And he's slick, but he's not Mayweather slick,
I
right?
don't know why people say that. I believe he is
And
exciting.
he's not a braggadocious, right? He's not someone that's gonna bring attention to himself. He's a very quiet, laid back kind of guy. He's gonna say how he's feel, but very humble.
And
You
he's
know,
goofy. Some people don't like him being goofy.
yeah. It's fine because what's gonna happen? I bet everything when he wins this fight. Oh my God! All these Boo Boo fans are gonna come out the woodworks. Oh, I bet I knew it. Hey, Boo Boo, Boo Boo, Boo Boo. This is how it works. This fight is giving me Danny Garcia, Lucas Matisse vibes, and I remember nobody, maybe like four people, giving Danny Garcia a shot,
I was
saying that
one of
Danny
those.
was gonna win the fight. I was one of them because I went to war on Twitter. Those were my Twitter days, and there was like, if Danny goes 4 rounds with Matisse, that's a win in itself. Just going 4 rounds because there's no way he's gonna win that fight. So I'm seeing the disrespect for Boo Boo. He's gonna get knocked out. I've seen in somebody's show mention, oh, we've seen Boo Boo got put hands on by Luke Keeler. This is a dude that Boo Boo stopped and dropped 2 times before he stopped him. And that was a fight almost 3 years ago. How you using a fight from 3 years ago as a measuring stick for a fighter now? When I said it was obvious that in Benavidez' last fight, he was
Benavidez got
getting
dropped
cooked
too.
early.
No,
He
he
was
got
no,
and
no.
yeah, yeah, and he got
I'm
dropped
just talking about
early.
the last fight. I'm not gonna
Right.
bring up a fight years ago as a measuring stick and say, oh, he's gonna lose because this fighter in 2020 did this to him. That shit has no relevance to today. If you was telling me the last fight, then that's a different story.
You see,
But it's not.
but then that
No, no,
again goes to the point of what
no.
have you done for me
Exactly.
lately?
You're right. But the point is this, and if I told you why not, we can use that all the time because
Nah, I agree with that. I
you
agree.
know. But what I'm saying is not from 3 years ago.
Nah.
I can't tell you, yo, oh, he in 2020, this dude hit him with a left hook. Okay, bro, that was in 2020. We ain't about to be in 2024. But the bottom line is this again. Boo Boo, if he comes in focus, he comes
He
in
will.
shape.
He
He's
will.
gonna. This is a fight that he's gonna win. But there will be moments in there where we're gonna be like, uh oh, Boo Boo. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
Benavidez
Yeah.
is gonna
Yeah.
is gonna put him there. He's gonna put him
Yeah.
on the edge. What is Boo Boo gonna do? Fall off
He's
the edge,
dangerous.
or he's gonna
He's
fight his
dangerous.
way out off the edge?
He
So we
he,
will
he
see.
gonna fight. He gonna fight. If he gonna fight his way, he gonna fight it. Even if he loses, he's not gonna fold and just give it up. I mean, shit. Caleb Plant didn't, and that's a guy who can't punch his way out of a wet paper bag.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a good fight, and it should be a good fight. I hope Benavidez doesn't come in weight drained, so we can actually get a decent fight. Because if he looks the way he did against Plant, he gonna get cooked. He gonna get cooked. That's gonna be 8-4, 9-3, and 8-4 graciously. They might give him 7-5 because Benavidez is already gonna have a card that's gonna be like 9-3 in favor of him because they're gonna want to make that Canelo. So that's another factor we gotta put in there. They want the house wants and needs Benavidez to win. So we understand that Boo Boo's gonna be fighting two fights in there. So he's gonna have to not only win but dominate, a la Bevo Canelo. Because if Bevo wouldn't have dominated Canelo, he wouldn't have got that decision. One judge had it crazy anyway for Canelo, right, or something like that, or it was crazy. The one
No,
judge
I
had the
think
way.
they. I know they just about all the judges, like the first 5 rounds, they all gave Canelo, which was absurd. That was crazy. That all three had it for Canelo, and I was like, yo, bro, he might have won one round.
Yeah,
Might
no,
have. Let's be nice.
and they would what he win by split
It might have been
or, or,
unanimous.
or, or majority. But either way, Canelo was given a lot of rounds credited that didn't. The same thing's gonna happen here. So Boo Boo got to come in and he gotta beat the shit out of this dude. I'm gonna pick Andre, and I think he's gonna outbox him, hurt him, drop him, perhaps not stop him because Benavidez is just a tough dude. But do I think it's gonna be a good fight? Gonna be interesting. Good, I don't know. Again, if Benavidez, which I suspect is not gonna come in 100% because of the weight cut, I don't think it's gonna be such a great fight.
Let me, and also on that card, we know we're getting Jamal Charlo against Benavidez' older brother,
Yeah, I want to
Jose
talk about that.
Benavidez. I know. But also, Subriel Matias will be defending his belt, his IBF, against the fighter. I can't mention his name. I mean, not that I can't mention. Look it up. I forgot how you. It's a European, another European undefeated fighter, but they both have a lot of knockouts, and we know how Subriel fights. He's a Puerto Rican, but he fights like a Mexican. He comes forward and he wants to punish you. So that fight, it's gonna be very
So,
interesting,
talk
man.
about Lebanese.
No, 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 Lipinets. They not fighting Lipinets. Go to Subiel. Just Google Subiel Matias next fight.
No, because Boxrec be bugging, man.
Not
Boxrec.
box rec. Don't box rec it because it's not
That's
the
what I
the
did.
the the IBF. The IBF ordered it. It's gonna. They said no. It's gonna be on the undercard.
Yeah, we're gonna have to give that homework to the
Yeah,
to the
I
to the
got it.
viewers.
My man Mo Boxing, no problem. He posted it. But if
Oh,
that's
all right. It looks like it's gonna be Subriel Matiz versus uh Shohajan
yeah,
Ergashev.
yes, there you go. So he I believe he's undefeated with a high knockout rate again. Who has he beat? I don't know.
Uh,
But the point is, we know that's gonna be action packed.
no doubt, man. Well, let's wrap it up, man. This has been
All right.
another episode of the Boxing Roundtable. Any questions, share, like, subscribe, comment. We'll be coming at you with live shows and also recorded shows as we have in the past with the utmost visual and audio quality. I hope you guys were able to enjoy this one better than the last one without any feedback. You already know tomorrow, who knows, man, we might do a quick post fight if anything exciting happens. So you already know, man.
One.
Peace.